Hello and welcome, everyone. My name is Mark, a trainer here at WEX Field Service Management, and today we are covering job management and best practices. This webinar will cover what a job is in WEX FSM. We'll do a full job page overview, appointment statuses and visuals, how to do multi-appointment jobs for callbacks. We'll go over the flag for follow-up feature, and then finish with job reporting so you can manage your jobs in bulk. We'll of course do our live Q&A at the end where you can get your questions answered live on stream. And without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into WEX FSM. When you first log into your system, you will be on the schedule page. And today's topic is focusing around jobs. Now, when you create an appointment from the schedule page, if I click new here, let's say, create an appointment, and I get it on the board, it will create the appointment, but it will also create a job. I like to think of jobs in WEX FSM as digital file folders that everything relating to that job will be saved into for job organization. Now, jobs are created when you create appointments, but you can also create jobs directly from customer pages. So we are going to search for our customer, Mary Smith. Go to her customer page by clicking on her profile here. And now that we're on Mary's page, we can see that there are gray rectangles on the right side. This is actually the timeline, and the timeline will show every job that you have done for this customer. Each of these rectangles represents a job, and if you click the drop down, there's a little red arrow here. If I click on that, that will show me everything that is inside of that job. If you want to go into a job to take some actions, you can click on the job number in the top left corner of each of these job boxes, and that will take you into the job. But just in general, if you create an appointment, you'll come to the customer page and you'll see the job that was created when you created that appointment here. If you want to just create a job without an appointment, maybe you want to quickly create a proposal or an invoice from scratch, you can do that from the quick actions. And it's the very last quick action here. If you hover over, it says create a new job form. Click on that. First thing is which location are we going to go service? Whatever you select here. This will show, this drop down will show all sublocations for this customer. Select the location that you want the technician to go to do the service. And this is also the address that will be used when the technician pulls GPS directions out in the field to get to the job. Then we have some options here. We have create new job, which means that depending on the options I select, when it's finished, it will create a brand new job folder. Or if this is a callback, I know that I'm creating, an invoice or a proposal for a previous job. I can select that existing job from here. For this example, we want to create a new job. You will select the job type. Let's say that this is just a general service call, and we're all HVAC in here, so maybe this is a no AC call. Also, for those of you who have just joined, welcome. We are recording today's session, so you will be able to watch a replay of this for anything you may have missed. I'll show you where to find the replays at the end, but welcome. All right, we have our job type, we have our job name, and then we have three options for creating a job here. You can create a job only with no proposal or invoice. There won't be any information in there. It's just an empty job that you can then build out as needed with the different elements that you need for that job. Or you can create a new job with a proposal or a new job with an invoice. So those are some of your options. Once you create the job, it will show up in the job timeline here. Now, let's take a look into a job and see all of the different options you have when you're actually in the job or, on the job page. To do this, we're going to search for my job with Mary here, 11918. You can search for jobs. They will just pull up here. And when you're ready to go into that job, you will just click the number and it will take you into the job. Every job you create in your system will look the same in terms of the template for that page. So all of your jobs will have the job number in the top, which the job number will be auto created by your system when you create a new job. And the job name. If you want to edit the job name, you can click the edit pencil here and edit the name and then hit save. Job names are optional, but I highly recommend that you use them because when I go to look at my history, if it's just a bunch of job numbers with no names, I'll have to go into each job or like click that drop down and look at what's going on to even know what job it was. If you name them, you'll instantly know, oh, this was that service call we did. Oh, here's where we did the furnace install. So it is good to name your jobs. We have a job tracker here. So if you complete your appointments, do your proposals, get them signed, order parts, create your invoices, and take payment, as you complete these things and they go into, a completed status, it will then update your job tracker here. The job summary section, there's a lot to look at here. Job status is the job open, closed, or abandoned. Job type is great for reporting. So you can customize your job types to make them whatever you want. And if this is a service call, I would select service. If this was a maintenance, I'll select maintenance. And let's say I'm putting job types to jobs for 6 months. When I go to my reporting, I can always filter by job type. So I'm able to select, let's say, I want to look at all the installs that I did for the last 6 months, set the filters, and since you've been using job types, you'll pull that information very easily. Job price is going to be the pricing that your invoices and proposals will take on when you're creating them. And we have a couple pricing strategies set up here. If it's standard price, which is what it will be always by default, unless the customer is a maintenance plan customer, then it will automatically select the maintenance plan pricing. Let's say you have it set up to be 10% off parts. When I'm creating an invoice, it'll give me 10% off parts on the items that I have the maintenance plan pricing turned on. These two items, if you would like to customize these, to update and add your own custom job types, you will go to Settings, Jobs, Job Types. You will have default job types here, so maybe those cover everything you need. But if you want to add a new job type, click Add New Job Type, enter the name. The color that you see of your appointments when I'm on the schedule page is set here. The colors represent the type of job it is. And when you're scheduling, it is nice to have the default duration set here. If this is a install job type, maybe it'll take 2 to 3 hours versus a service call, which may only take 1 hour. That just saves you a little time. It will automatically default the length of the appointment based on what you set here. Once you have your job types set up here, when you are on your job, that is what will show up here in the dropdown. For your job price, to set up your pricing strategies, that is done from More Applications, price book pricing defaults. Your standard price, you'll set your parts markup multiplier. When you add an item to your price book, it will automatically set it to the standard price. For example, if I have a item that costs me $100 with a 1.5 markup, we will be charging the customer $150. That is just a base standard price, which you can update per item as you're adding them in the price book. And then the maintenance plan price is set here. So if you run a maintenance plan program, if you have a customer who is not a maintenance plan customer in your system, then your job forms will show them the available savings if they sign up. It's a good way to get more signups. If they are a maintenance plan customer, it will just automatically update from the standard price to the maintenance plan price when you create the job. And then you don't have to think about it. It will just apply that to the applicable items when you're creating proposals and invoices. And then you have a way to update three modifiers, and these can either be percentage discounts, like a family and friends discount or military discount, or upcharges. If you do after hours pricing, you'll want to come here. You can name it whatever you want. I name mine after hours, and it's a 25% increase. So I create an invoice. It's the weekend. It's an emergency call. I would, on my job, update that pricing to the after hours pricing. And then when I'm creating the invoice to charge the customer, it will apply that 25% increase. So that is how job price works. And then we have a lot of quick actions down here where you can see a ton of information about the job. Calls and notes will include any notes that have been added to this, whether that's from the office or from the field. Any checklists that you may have added, you can add a new checklist and attach that to the job by clicking New here. Equipment, if you add equipment to the customer page, or if you add equipment from the mobile app out in the field, that will all save right here. So you always have a reference of what equipment is on location for this job. Any attachments that you upload, review requests that you want to send out, you can choose auto send. That just means that once you complete all of the elements of the job, it will automatically send a review request out to your customer. Now, you do need to set up your review requests first in order for this link to be correct. So let's just talk quickly about how review requests work. If I go to settings, call and notifications, there's an email notifications page and a text notifications page. I do recommend that you go to both, but let's go to email as an example. And when you're on this page, just in general, this is where you can update the messaging that's coming out of your system. Yes, all of this is set as defaults and it looks and sounds good just as a basic message. We understand the industry and we have basic messaging in here when you first sign up. But I do recommend coming to this page and at least looking at what each of these tabs say, because this is what your customer sees when you send out certain things. The review request is at the end here. So if I click review request, the way this works is you will first want to think, where do I want my customers to go and give me a review? That could be your Facebook page. If you have a Google profile, it's always good to get 5 stars on that Google profile. And you will set those links up from here. It says review page link. Click the edit button and put in the information for your Google page, your Facebook page, your Yelp. And if you have a custom page, let's say you have a place where they can leave a review directly on your website, add that as a custom URL here. And then when we're on the job and the review request is sent to the customer, whether that's automatically sent, or you send it manually by hitting send review request, it will send them the link with all of the different buttons that will send them to the places you want them to give a review. So that is how you set that up. Make sure you hit save after you add those links, and then you are good to go to send out your review requests. And I do want to touch on profit and loss as well. Every job that you make is going to do the math for you and tell you what profit you've made. And so if I'm taking a look at this, this job is done. I can see we made a profit of $926.95. There are a couple steps. There's things you need to set up first before this profit and loss number will be correct. There's two main things to set up: product cost and labor cost. The product cost will come from your price book. So let's quickly go over. I'm going to close a couple of these tabs. There we go. So for product cost, we need to set that up in the price book. So we'll go to more application, price book, my price book. Hello, Kristen. Welcome. Just to let you know, we are recording today's session, so you will be able to watch a replay of this to catch what you may have missed. But welcome. I'll show you where to find that at the end. So, profit and loss, we need to know our costs, and we need to, product cost and labor cost. Product costs are set up in the price book. So if I go to add a product, which I already have an example here, let's just take a look at the general part. When you are creating the item, you will want to put in a cost. When I add this general part to an invoice, let's say, it will take the cost and add that to that profit and loss equation for product costs. And if you put the cost here, which this is how much you pay for this item, then you do that for all of your products in your price book. As you're adding a ton of items to an invoice, it will calculate the cost of all of those products. That's how we get our product cost. The other part of the equation is your labor cost. So my technician is going to go out, is going to clock into the job and clock out of the job, and that time is tracked, but it needs to know what the labor cost per hour is in order to get a correct labor cost for the time that the technician spent on the job. To set your labor cost, that is done from the user profile page. To get there, we're going to go to Settings, User Management, Users. And we've got my boy Dustin here. He is a field technician. I will just click on Dustin's profile by clicking on his name. And right here, it says labor cost per hour. This is asking how much does it cost you as a company to pay your user here for 1 hour of service. If this is empty, if you don't have anything here, your profit and loss numbers will not include the labor cost and be incorrect. It will have a part missing or a labor missing. Da-dum-tsh. Okay, so this is what you need to set. We've got Dustin here, labor costs, $40 an hour. And when Dustin goes out on the job and clocks time, he will then, like that amount of time will be multiplied times the labor cost per hour. And now we have our product cost, we have our labor cost, all of our settings are set up. We don't have to think about it. And then WEX FSM does the math for you. The revenue is the amount of the invoice in total. The product cost is how much the actual costs of the products are to you. Any additional expenses that you may need to add, you can actually manually add here. So if I click See Details, we have a space where we can put other expenses. And there may not be a lot of scenarios where you need to use this, but one would be I paid a technician a $50 commission, and that was technically a cost for the job, but it's nothing that the customer needs to see. We don't need that to be on the invoice, but we do want it calculated in the expenses for the job. So you can put those down below here. You just click New and add the expense. You can also see labor cost breakdowns from this section as well. When you're done with any edits that you make in the system, it's always good to hit save, so you save that information. Okay, opportunity. Let's talk about this. So when you're doing jobs, let's say that you have a repair side of the business, you have a service side of the business, and then you have an install side of the business. Maybe for your installs, those are bigger jobs that you would like to track as opportunities won and opportunities lost. So you can track your close rate for those big jobs. If opportunity is on here, it will consider this job as an opportunity towards your close rate. If this isn't something you want included in your close rate, you would want to have this off. If opportunity is on and I create a proposal, now this officially goes in as a job that is considered an opportunity. If the customer accepts and signs it and you win the job and you get to do it, it will be considered a win. If the customer declines, you don't do the job, it will be considered a loss. And then from your proposals report, you will be able to see your close rate. And having the opportunity toggled on and off does matter for whether or not it will consider this as part of that close rate percentage. All right. Now, we have 4 sections in each job at the bottom here. Appointments and service requests are going to show you all of your appointments and service requests. You can have multiple appointments. That's something that when I was new, I thought each job could only have one. You can make as many appointments as you want for the job. So the job is like the foundation. This entire page is your main job. As you go out and do appointments, those will show up here. You can see the scheduled time, which is what was scheduled when you made the appointment. And then the actual time is what the technician clocked in and out themselves out in the field. If you need to make updates or edits to any of this, you can click the edit pencil here to edit the appointment. And let's say that the technician didn't clock in correctly or they forgot. You can come here and click on the actual time and just update the entry to be what they actually went out and did. Proposals and financing will be where all of your proposals for this job will live. You can create as many proposals as you want. You can create a new proposal or copy a proposal from a previous job. If you want to convert a proposal to an invoice, you have a quick action for that here. When you convert to invoice, it's going to maintain the proposal. You'll still see the proposal there, but then it will make a invoice from that proposal that you can then take payment from. Click on this little PDF icon here to view a PDF version of the document. And this is actually what your customer will see. So when you're building it, it'll look a little different, but if you send it to them, they'll see the PDF version. Anytime you want to send it to them, you can click the airplane icon here to just select the contact and send. And then it will show you, there's a little timestamp here that will let you know the last time this document was sent to the customer. The same applies, the PDF, the sending, and the timestamp applies for comparisons and purchase orders and invoices as well. Now, proposal comparisons, the proposal comparison feature allows you to create proposal comparisons, and it's a tool that pulls individual proposals together to create a comparison. So the way that you would want to do a proposal comparison, if you're doing it from scratch, you would simply create each offer as an individual proposal. Maybe you make a good proposal, a better proposal, and a best proposal. And then the comparison tool, let's say I click new, will allow me to select from my list of favorites first. And you see that that's checked here. And we can just see, here are all of my favorite proposals. And then if you uncheck favorites, it will show you all proposals in your system. So if I wanted to create a like a good, better, best proposal, let's say, I would have set those up. And we see here, good, better, best. Hit create. And now we've used our proposals to pull them in to then create the comparison. Once you have the comparison created, you are able to either show that to the customer if they're standing in front of you, or send it to them. And if you do send it, it will look like, it will show them the PDF. And that looks like this. You can create purchase orders in your system. You are able to order from suppliers. Once you create a purchase order, you are able to send it to your supplier, and that will fulfill the order for you. You do need to set up your suppliers, your manufacturers, your catalogs. So there is a setup to having the suppliers ready for you to make a purchase order. If you are interested in that, we're not going to do a deep dive into suppliers and purchase orders, but we do have a webinar that you can attend where we go over that in detail, or you can search our knowledge base. So if you are interested in that, go to the Help Center, little smiley face guy in the bottom here, and then video courses and webinars. And you can check our webinar calendar if there is a live session that you would like to join. That is here. And then we'll scroll down. And this is where we have our past webinars. So you could just watch the replay on your own time. And suppliers and purchase orders, that's the last link here. And then the final section, we have invoices and payments. Any invoices you create will show here. Any payments that you take will show down here. So that is an overview of the job page, the settings, the recommended settings to make sure that everything is working properly in your system for you. And now let's take a look at the appointment status and visuals so you can get an idea from the office of what is going on out in the field. We'll take a look at that from the schedule page. I went ahead and set up some appointments. And if you notice, the first appointment does not have anything moving. It's just an appointment. So that means that it is scheduled. It's on the dispatch board, and my technician out in the field will have it in their mobile device so they can do the job. Once my technician in the field says, I'm on the way, it will update visually here in the office with moving dotted lines, which is nice. I know that Caleb here is currently on his way to this job. When you get to the job, the technician will then update the status that they are at the job doing the work. And when they do that, the dotted lines will stop moving and we just have a dotted outline. That represents they're at the job doing the work. And then when they complete the job, I'm finished, I mark it as complete from my mobile app. You'll see in the office here that that turns gray. Now, in the event that there is no time clocked on the job and the time passes, the job will be considered, or sorry, the appointment will be considered missed. So if you see that there is a low opacity, you can see it's a little lighter than normal. That means that this was missed. So either Bruce didn't make it here and didn't actually do the appointment, or he did the appointment, he just forgot to clock in. And again, if you need to update that, you can always hover over the appointment. You can go to the job page and you can update the actual time here of when Bruce actually worked. And you can also update the status to complete to remedy a missed appointment. So there you go. That is just some nice knowledge. If you're sitting in the office and you're just wondering where everybody's at, you can see that very clearly here, whether they haven't started, are on the way, are at the job doing the work, or the job is complete. Also, if you see the job is complete and it's gray, the outline will still be the color of the job type. So I know this is residential, install, maintenance, repair. Next, let's take a look at using flag for follow-up and how to do multi-appointment jobs. If you have a job that requires multiple visits, you can make as many appointments as you want. That could either be there was an error and you need to go back and fix it. You didn't have the part that you needed in the moment and you're going to have to order a part and go back. Or maybe it's just a 3-month long job where you know you're going to be going out there each week and it's just a job that has a lot of appointments because it's a big job. To look at an example of this, let's go to our customer, Justin Hernandez. Let's just look him up, Justin. And I've created a job 14174. And we'll just go into that job. As we mentioned before, your appointments and service requests will be here. And we can see that this job has 3 appointments. You can create appointments from the schedule page. You can create appointments from the job page by clicking new here. And you can even create appointments out in the field from the mobile app. There's many different scenarios that you may need to do a follow-up or a callback, but we recommend using the flag for follow-up feature to help you keep track of this. I love this feature. This is something that is, if you're used to having a million sticky notes all over your desk, this can clean that up for you. This will allow you to just know every single follow-up that you have for every single job, and nothing will slip between the cracks. And that is what this feature was designed for. Let's do an example. Let's say that for this job, we don't have the part that we need. So I'm going to choose flag for follow-up, choose a follow-up type. It will come with defaults, but you can add your own follow-up types here by hitting add new follow-up type. But we have part order already, so we'll select part order. You can assign this. Let's say that you have someone who specifically does all your part ordering. If you assign them, they'll be able to see that it's been assigned to them from the job list, which we'll look at in just a little bit. And then you put your notes, ordered part here, and then hit save. Once you save the flag, it will be added to your flagged jobs list. You will also see in the very top navigation here, you have a instant button that takes you to the job list where you can manage your flags. You also see the number of flags will increase. And then you are able to, let's say the part comes in, you go out and install it, you remove the flag by clicking on it, and hit flag complete. If you want to put any notes here, you can. So, part install on 03/02/26, and then mark it as complete. Hit save. That will then remove the flag. And now we were able to use that flag to keep us up to date. Now that was using it on an individual job, but we want to be able to track our jobs and all of our flags in bulk so we can just stay managed with all of the different jobs that we're doing. To do this, you can go to Jobs, Job List, or you can click right here under Flags if you know you're going there to look at your flags. Either way, that will bring you to the job list. Now, by default, the job list is exactly what it says. It's a big list of all your jobs in your system. And this is just a great place to search for jobs if you want. You can look at jobs by date range, isolate by job type. Like I want to look at all of my installs that I did for the last week. Whatever you're wanting to look at in terms of jobs here, this is a great page to do it. But in terms of showing your flag jobs, you will want to click Show Flagged Jobs Only. That will allow you to see and isolate all of your jobs with a flag on them. You can hover over the flag and click on it to edit and update your flag. So you don't have to go to each individual job to update flags. You can actually manage all your flags in bulk right from here. Make any updates that you need, mark them as complete, and just manage those flags from here. You can see at a glance whether the job is open, closed, or abandoned, what the follow-up type is, and if you assign them. Let's say I'm the person who does all the ordering, I will, have flags assigned to me for part orders. I show up to work, I come here, I select my name. I think we did Alex. I forget who we selected earlier. Let's do Jordan. There we go. So let's say I'm Jordan. I come in to see what parts I need to order for the day. As long as they have been assigned to me as a user, all my flags that I need to take care of personally are right here. So you can get pretty detailed by assigning, and then everyone's flags that relates to the job that they do, you can itemize those in that way. Just know when you're creating the flag, assignee does need to be selected. So there you go. We are getting close to the end here. We have one final report to look at, and then we'll be in our Q&A. So get your questions ready. Now, we have been talking about jobs the whole time today, and it's nice to be able to know the overall health of your jobs, be able to see what's going on from a high-level overview. And to do this, we will use the job summary report. To get there, you will click on Reporting in the main navigation. And then from reporting, we're looking for the job summary report. So that's under jobs and job summary. The job summary report is best for monitoring overall job statuses and progress. So from here, you can look at your jobs by date range, by job type, by lead source, where did these jobs come from? Update by job status. Search by customer name, location, or job number. And you can also isolate flag jobs here as well by clicking the Show Flag for Follow-up Only. What I will say is Show Flag Jobs Only is going to be, it's going to allow you to look at jobs that have flags on them, but you can't edit the flags here. So I would say for managing and editing your flags, do that from the job list. But it's always nice when you're looking, you can see your flag jobs from here. You can also, oh, well, you can see that it's flagged, but you'll want to edit it from that job list. More importantly, though, what we want to really use this for, a big use case for this report is uh, have the appointments that have been scheduled been completed? You can see that easily from here, number of appointments. If something was scheduled, but it wasn't completed and it's, a week old, you may want to click on the job and look into it. What happened here? If you have signed proposals out there that have not been converted to an invoice, that's an issue. We got to get that money. And so you'll see if something is signed, but there's no invoice total and it's 2 weeks old, what happened here? And you can go into the job and investigate. So if there are any checklists, let's say that the appointment is scheduled and completed, everything looks good, but you notice the checklist wasn't done. What happened there? If you click on the exclamation point, you can then see whether it has been completed or not. You can also view the PDF and send it to the customer as a quick action from here. So job summary, great place to just see the overall status of the job and certain actions that are being taken on those jobs and filter by flags. All right, so that is all the information that we have for today's presentation. We're going to jump into our Q&A now, but I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining. My name is Mark with WEX Field Service Management, and this has been Job Management and Best Practices.